Okay, let's talk about one of the most common questions out there. You've got a standard 12-volt, 100-amp-hour battery, and you want to charge it with solar. Sounds simple, right? Well, the answer you usually find online is frankly not just wrong, it can be really unsafe. So we're going to figure out the actual number you really need.
You've seen this. I know you have. It's everywhere. The 1-to-1 rule. A 100-watt panel for a 100-amp-hour battery. It's so neat and tidy, it feels like it has to be right. But, and this is a big but, it's a huge oversimplification that totally ignores how these systems actually work in the real world. And this is exactly where that simple rule falls apart. What about all the power that gets lost along the way? What about keeping your expensive battery healthy for years to come? And, most importantly, what about the safety of the whole setup? Getting this wrong isn't just inefficient, it can be genuinely dangerous. So to get the right answer, we have to start with the battery itself. Because the number you see printed on the label, that's not really the amount of energy you get to use every day. Let's break down its true usable capacity. All right, first let's do some super simple math. To figure out the total energy storage, we measure it in watt-hours. You just multiply the amp-hours by the voltage. So 100 amp-hours times 12 volts, that gives us 1200 watt-hours of total potential energy. Easy enough, right? But, and you knew there was a but coming, here's the catch. You can't just drain that battery all the way to zero. If you do that, you will absolutely destroy it and shorten its life like you wouldn't believe. This is where a concept called depth of discharge comes in. For a typical lead-acid battery, you should only ever use about 50% of its total power to keep it healthy. So picture this. That 1200 watt-hour battery is really split right down the middle. One half, that's your usable energy for the day. The other half? That's a reserve. You have to leave it untouched to protect the battery and make sure it lasts. And that brings us to the most important number so far, 600 watt-hours. This is our magic number. This is the amount of energy we need our solar setup to put back into the battery every single day to bring it back to a full, safe charge. All right, so we have our target, right? We need to generate 600 watt-hours. Now we can finally figure out how much solar we need. But to do it right, we have to factor in some real-world conditions. Here's the thing. No solar system is 100% efficient. It's just not possible. You lose a little bit of power from the heat on the panels, from the resistance in the wires, and even from the charge controller just doing its job. A pretty good estimate is to assume you'll lose about 20% of the power. That means your system is really only about 80% efficient. Okay, we've got all the pieces of the puzzle now. We know our energy goal, and we know our system isn't perfect, so let's put it all together into a simple 3-step formula that anyone can do. Here's our game plan. It's super straightforward. First, you start with your usable energy. That's our 600 watt-hours. Then, you divide that by the number of good sun hours you get per day. And finally, you divide that result by your system efficiency to make up for those real-world losses. Now, peak sun hours, this is important. It's not just how long the sun is in the sky, it's a measure of how intense the sunlight is. This number changes a lot depending on where you live and the time of year, but for our calculation today, we'll use a pretty common average of 5 hours. So let's plug in the numbers. We take our 600 watt-hours and divide it by 5 sun hours. That tells us we need 120 watts of power. But wait, remember, our system isn't perfect. We have to account for that 20% loss. So we divide 120 watts by 0.8. And there you have it, 150 watts. That's the real answer, not 100. To reliably, safely, and effectively charge your 100 amp-hour battery day after day, you actually need a 150-watt solar panel. That extra 50% makes all the difference between a system that works and one that leaves you frustrated. But hold on, we are not done yet. Not even close. Getting the math right is only half of it. If your system isn't wired correctly and, more importantly, safely, then all this careful planning is for nothing. This part right here is absolutely not optional. The brain of your entire operation and the heart of its safety is the charge controller. It manages the power flowing from the panels to the battery. You've got two main types, a simpler, cheaper PWM controller or a more efficient MPPT. Whichever you go with, having one is non-negotiable. So let's just run through this safety checklist because every single one of these points is critical. 1. Never, ever connect a solar panel directly to a battery. 2. Always use a charge controller. 3. Protect your system with a fuse or a breaker. 4. Use the right thickness of wire for the job. And 5, please, for the love of all that is good, double-check that your positive and negative wires are hooked up correctly before you turn anything on.
And let me be crystal clear about why this is so important. The consequences of skipping these safety steps are serious. You can permanently fry your battery, you can ruin your equipment, and you can absolutely start a fire. This is why we focus on getting this right.
So there we have it. We've gone from a simple, but really flawed, rule of thumb to a solid calculation that accounts for battery health, real-world inefficiencies, and all the critical safety checks. You have the formula. The only question left is, how are you going to use this to build your next project the right way?